Monday, the rain is gone. We have seen some other runs that kind of linger the rain in here. And then a week from today, this is Tuesday, the 2nd of December. Got a big trough developing over the eastern states and evidence there might be some rain maybe Monday night or Tuesday morning of next week with that Arctic front coming in here. But that should set up some pretty cool days next week. Let's go out 10 days. This is Thursday, December 5th. A zonal flow and a cool, dry air mass. Rain for the next 15 days, valid through the 10th of December.
Two, one.
It's 12:07. This is meteorologist James Spann. This is a live update on the Alabama Weather Network to kind of give you a view of what's going to happen this afternoon. Within the last minute, we have a tornado watch issued now for parts of central and southwest Alabama, the counties that are in red on this map. The watch is in effect until 6 o'clock this evening, and the watch includes counties as far north as Tuscaloosa, Jefferson, Shelby, Talladega, and Clay. The watch does not include Anniston, Gadsden, Cullman, Hamilton, Huntsville, the Shoals, Athens, Scottsboro. So again, if you are in the northern third of the state, north of Birmingham, you have no risk of severe storms today. The main concern for the chance of a few isolated brief tornadoes really along and south of Interstate 20. The watch does include places like Montgomery, Selma, Demopolis, Brent, Marion, Camden, Greenville, Evergreen, Monroeville, Chatham, Milry, Jackson, York, Livingston. Again, the southernmost counties down here are Washington, Monroe, Clark, Conecuh, Butler, and Crenshaw. So again, that's the southern extent. The northern extent, Tuscaloosa, Jefferson, and Talladega and Clay County. So again, this part of Alabama is under a tornado watch in effect until 6 o'clock this evening. And again, what you're seeing over here, those two boxes, these are a couple of our sky cams, one near Maplesville in Chilton County, one that's in downtown Montgomery, and we'll be watching the skies carefully this afternoon. But what I want to do, Bill, is go to the radar. And Ryan, let's go back to links. The radar is going to be on links 2 today. And this is the current situation. And we stress we have no severe weather in progress anywhere in the state. We have thunderstorms that are forming here in scattered pockets in a broad zone from near Jackson and Clark County to just south of Selma to near Clanton back up to Anniston. And again, once you get north of Interstate 20, the air is stable and we just don't expect any severe weather problems. South of Interstate 20, down in the zone down and through here, there could be a few isolated brief tornadoes. This is not going to be what I think will be a big severe weather day, but all it takes is one small tornado coming down your street. That's a big severe weather day. And again, all of these storms are currently below severe limits, but the storms are trying to rotate. And we have a window here for a few hours between now and about 2, 3 o'clock this afternoon where we still have the decent combination of unstable air and a proper wind profile. Now, the winds will be weakening and veering later this afternoon. When that happens around 3, 4 o'clock, that ends any tornado threat. But between now and, say, for about the next 3 hours, we could see a few isolated, very isolated, probably brief type tornadoes today. So, Bill, let's look at our thunderstorm that's located near Selma. And I say thunderstorm, most of these are rain showers. And again, let's pop on the velocity. This is the reflectivity. Again, US 80 is right here. And you can see we have this just broad rotation. This is not a tornado signature. If you issue a tornado warning every time you see that, your alarms will be false 99% of the time. And until this thing tightens up, there will be no tornado warning issued. But again, we've just at the moment got broad circulation down here south of Selma. The thing is trying. It's trying to spin. But at the moment, it's simply not happening. So again, we see no reason for any tornado warning here at this point. Let's work our way up to the north. And again, we've seen other locations of just broad rotation here. Let's go up north and check the storms that's sitting on the Coosa River here, Lake Jordan, Lay Lake. And again, you see the little hooks and pendants trying here. Let's pop on the velocity, Bill. And again, The storm that's northeast of Clanton, there's no evidence of any rotation there, despite that signature here in the reflectivity. So we see no concern at all up here in Chilton County. Let's go back to the reflectivity. And these are showers. There's no thunder, there's no lightning. Notice the box down there in the lower part of the screen. That tells you the total number of lightning strikes, positive and negative, and it's a 0. So these are just rain showers producing heavy rain on top of the Coosa River, gradually moving north. And again, let's kind of give a statewide view, Bill. Let's talk about everybody here from the Tennessee Valley to the Gulf Coast. And we'll animate this. Let's go back about 2 hours and do a loop here. So if you are in the Shoals, Huntsville, Athens, Scottsboro, we just don't expect any severe weather. The air is stable, rain cooled, no issues there. If you are in Cullman, Gadsden, Hamilton, Haleyville, I don't think you have any severe weather problems there. Same thing. It's a fairly cool, stable air mass. The instability values begin to increase mainly south of Interstate 20. And you can see southeast Alabama, there's nothing happening, and you are not in this watch. And I really don't expect a severe weather problem down here. If you're in Dothan, Enterprise, Ozark, Abbeville, Headland, Geneva, and Delusia, in that by the time the storms reach you tonight, the upper wind profiles will be much weaker. Winds have veered, unidirectional. I just don't see a tornado threat down here. There's just a little window of time here where there could be a few isolated tornadoes in this zone here from Birmingham and Tuscaloosa south down toward Grove Hill and Jackson and Butler and Milry, places like that. So we're going to watch these storms carefully. Let's pop the tornado watch back up. And if you're just joining us, we have a tornado watch that has been issued for parts of central and southwest Alabama. And there's a look at your watch. And again, the counties are in red. And I understand we're going to change that, Bill, to yellow. We're going to get the watches ultimately changed over. And your feedback is what we're using to build this network. We do agree that the watches should be in yellow, and we're going to fix that. But again, this is a watch, not a warning, a tornado watch as far north as Tuscaloosa, Jefferson, Shelby, Talladega, and Clay counties. That's the northern extent. So this does include Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Talladega, Sylacauga, Ashland, and Lineville. And then to the southwest, down here into Washington, Clark, Monroe, Conecuh, Butler, and Crenshaw counties. This includes Luverne, Greenville, Georgiana, Chapman, Monroeville. It includes Evergreen. It includes Jackson, Thomasville, Grove Hill, Chatham, and Milry. Other places like Selma, Demopolis, Marion, Greensboro, Utah, York, and Livingston. Butler, again, this southwest and central part of the state. This does not include southeast Alabama. It does not include the Tennessee Valley. And again, we stress at this point we have no active warnings in effect. So, Bill, tell me what I'd like to do is kind of go through modeling. We'll take a look at the HER or and that might be the best idea, just to kind of show what's to come this afternoon. And remember, all models are wrong. Some are useful. So this is a look at this is the Barron model, right, Bill?
This is the Barron model. James.
Okay, that's fine.
Would you prefer the HRRR?
No, that's fine. This is the Barron 3K. And again, these are convection allowing good high resolution models. And so this is 1 o'clock this afternoon. This is in about 1 hour. And storms will be forming in a linear fashion along a front. And that front's going to bring much cooler air by Thanksgiving. So let's run this to about 3 o'clock. And again, this is 3 o'clock this afternoon. You can see storms, Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, back up towards Scottsboro. And again, along the front itself up in here, we don't expect any severe weather. If we have an isolated tornado, it's going to be down and through here. And understand, we could easily go through this afternoon with no tornadoes at all. It's not really a classic setup here. With the better dynamics weakening and lifting away with time. But there's that little window where there could be some isolated cell that tries to rotate and maybe drop a small brief tornado in through here. So again, that's 3 o'clock. Let's go to 5 o'clock this afternoon. We'll take it in 2-hour increments. And again, by 5 o'clock, you can see that the storms at that point should be south and east of Birmingham. And again, really as we get into the late afternoon, with the wind profiles weakening and that upper trough basically fading, dampening out and moving away from us, at this point, the odds of a tornado are quite low. Let's go to 7 o'clock this evening. Showers and thunderstorms continue in a broad zone from near Thomasville and Clark County up to about Clanton Ashland, Lineville, and Ranburne. Again, this is along the actual surface front, and at this point, we just don't expect any severe weather problems. We'll go to 9 o'clock tonight. The storms continue pushing to the south and east. At that point, they're coming into Montgomery, and then we'll just keep on going and watch the storms exit the state after midnight tonight, and they should be weakening with time tonight as we lose the daytime heating process and the dynamics all fall apart. That's midnight. We're getting into the pre-dawn hours, and everything's gone, and by tomorrow morning, we should be clear and we'll be cool and dry tomorrow right on through Saturday. So again, Thanksgiving Day looking cool and dry. So one more time, let's go back into, and I see a note from Drew here, Bill. I don't know if you saw that text message for you. He's about getting the watch in yellow. And Drew says he made the change last week on links 2, and it should sync over to the other one. So anyway, you can see what his text message is.
I'll check on that and see. I thought he had done that. So
and again, your feet. We want this to be a useful product for you. It's not about us. It's about you, the users here, the viewers. So again, let's go back to the radar, the current live radar. And again, we're live at 12:17. And I want to stress again, when you see me going live, we often have tornado warnings in effect. We do not. We have not had a single tornado warning in the state today. And we might get away without a single tornado warning through this entire event. This is kind of a low-end tornado watch, but again, our friends at the Storm Prediction Center believed it would just be a course of least regret to issue a tornado watch and that there might be a brief isolated tornado that would form mainly south of Interstate 20 and mainly west of I-65 for the next few hours. And I think that window is really about a 2-3 hour window between now and 2-3 o'clock. After 3 o'clock, we'll begin to see the dynamics weakening tremendously. And again, after 3 or 4 o'clock, the risk of a tornado very, very small. And it's not especially high even as we speak now, since the whole thing is a little out of phase. So again, we've just got these showers and some thunder. We've got 9 lightning strikes statewide in this zone here from Jackson back up to near Gee's Bend, around just to the east of Selma, near Benton, then curving up into Coosa County, then back up into East Alabama, and this other line back to the west of Tuscaloosa. But let's look at this thing that's just east of Selma. And again, this is the one that's been trying to get its act together, and let's see what it looks like now. Again, this is US 80 right here. This is Alabama Highway 14 right here. Highway 14 is north of the Alabama River from Prattville to Otaugaville to Selma. US 80 is south of the Alabama River from Selma to Montgomery. So let's look at our velocity display on this thing and we'll see what it looks like. And again, it's trying. You can see that there's just broad rotation here, but you just can't issue a tornado warning every time you see broad rotation like that. When that thing tightens up and you start to get some reports, absolutely. But again, at this point, we're all watching this thing very carefully. And it is just rotating broadly at this point. And we note that temperatures are coming up. And again, what you're seeing over here, it's our Skycam network. The Skycams that you see there, that's Montgomery. And here, this is Maplesville. So Montgomery here, Maplesville here. And note the sun is breaking out at these camera sites. Montgomery is up to 82 degrees. With the dew points up in the 60s, so it's the muggy feel to it. It's got that, stormy type feel to it. And I would imagine we have the same conditions at our Skycam that is near Maplesville. That is in Chilton County. And again, we'll be watching our cameras carefully, our folks out in the field very carefully today. And for those that are not aware, we had a bow-shaped echo that came through North Alabama this morning, producing tree and power line damage. A lot of trees were blown down. In parts of northeast Tuscaloosa County, southern Walker, northern Jefferson counties, and then over into parts of Blount, Etowah, Calhoun, Cherokee, and Cleburne counties. We have certainly had a lot of trees down this morning from that pre-dawn line, and that's when the wind dynamics were very, very strong. Today, they're still favorable to some degree, but they will be weakening with time this afternoon as the upper trough weakens and lifts away. And the winds veer back to the southwest and becomes unidirectional, and that really eliminates the chance of tornadoes later today. So again, we're just kind of watching this spot here just north of US Highway 80, again about 6-7 miles east of Selma, and that will be crossing the Alabama River, which is right here from Dallas County into Autauga County. This is US 82 from Prattville back up to Billingsley. And this is where everything is kind of in that little proper combination zone for the chance of a few isolated tornadoes today. And again, we note the dew points up to 67 up in Shelby County, so that warm sector is advancing northward. Let's take a little closer look at that thing, Bill. We'll kind of watch it on the next volume scan. And this is BMX, right? Not MXX.
That is correct.
Right, okay, so this is coming from the Shelby County Airport. And again, this is the spot we're watching. And at the rate it's going, it will be crossing the Alabama River. And we stress there's no tornado here. This is broad rotation. But if it tightens up and does produce a tornado, that's going to be crossing the Alabama River, coming up into Autauga County. This is the community of Booth right here. This is the community of Independence. Billingsley is right there. So just be aware that if you're in Autauga County, especially the western part of Autauga County, just kind of watch this storm carefully, and we'll see how it behaves over the next couple of hours. But at this point, we have no tornado warning in effect. But I do want to, Bill, look at it. If we can, flip it over to MXS. Let's just look at it from a different angle here. Again, this is coming from the Shelby County Airport. That's coming from the Maxwell Air Force Base radar, which is a little east-northeast of Montgomery. And again, it's the same thing, same signature, just kind of a broad rotation here. And I think in this position, probably the better look is BMX. We'll go back to BMX, the Shelby County next rad site. And it's the same thing. Again, we've got that broad rotation right here. Wind velocity is not especially high. There's just one lightning strike. Typically, if this thing's going to drop a tornado, you'll begin to see an increase in lightning and an increase in velocities here. So again, we're just in the process of watching this. And again, as we talked about, if you're just joining us, I don't expect this to be a day with a bunch of big tornadoes that are down for a long time. I don't expect a large number of tornadoes. This is a fairly low-end event. If you're new here, we have some very high-end events in this state. This is not one of them. This is a lower-end event. But again, if there's one tornado in the whole state, and even if it's an EF0 if it's an EF1, it's down for 3 minutes. If that thing comes down your street, it's a big deal to you. And so again, we'll keep a close eye on all of these things. And again, within that whole zone there, we're seeing these things just trying to rotate, but they're just having a hard time. And that whether they produce or not produce a tornado, a lot of that has to do with the wind profile, the way the winds work from the surface up to the tropopause. So again, it's just something to watch for now. So let's go back to a big view. And this will be a statewide view, just so you can see from the Tennessee state line to the Gulf Coast. And if you're new to us, we take care of all 67 Alabama counties. It does not matter your television market, your county warning area where you're served by the Weather Service, none of that matters. We're going to take care of all 67 Alabama counties here. And again, the higher chance of any tornado formation will be in this zone right down in through here. Really south of Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, Sylacauga, down towards Selma, Demopolis, Linden, Nanophilia, Thomasville, Grove Hill, Jackson, Monroeville, maybe as far east as Greenville and Luverne. But I think really and truly the better chance of a brief isolated tornado today, south of Interstate 20, west of Interstate 65 in this zone right in through here. That's where the instability values and the combination of instability and the good wind profiles are somewhat maximized here. But it's, again, a situation where we're watching parameters got a dew point of 68 in Montgomery, dew point of 67 at the Shelby County Airport. Bill, can we pop the dew points on real quick? One of these maps, take your pick. We'll get a dew point map, and that means a lot to us in the weather business. It might not mean a lot to you, but it really tells a story. So these are current dew points. Whoa. Wow, look at Selma with a dew point of 72. That's more like July. I mean, you walk outside, that is oppressive air for late November. Now, by this time tomorrow, the dew point's going to be 52. There's going to be a huge air mass change tomorrow. But again, we've got a dew point of 67 at Clanton, 66 in Tuscaloosa, 66 in Alexander City. And again, it's a cooler, stable air mass up here. But you can obviously see this is kind of the zone. The dew points are still fairly low in places like Eufaula and Dothan. They're in the low 60s, but those higher dew points, which would aid to the instability, again, will be southwest of Birmingham, down in the zone right in through here. So that's why we're watching that storm with great interest. So again, let's go back to our tornado watch if we can. And again, this is going to be our tornado watch in effect until 6 o'clock this evening. And again, this includes Tuscaloosa, Jefferson, Shelby, Talladega, Clay counties. So this does include the city of Tuscaloosa, the city of Birmingham. It includes Talladega, Sylacauga, Ashland, and Lineville, and then points south. This does include Tallapoosa County. This includes Alexander City and Dadeville. This includes Lake Martin. It includes the Montgomery Metro. That would be Autauga, Elmore, Montgomery counties. It includes Crenshaw and Butler counties, Conecuh, Monroe, Clark, and Washington. So that's where there could be a brief isolated tornado this afternoon. And again, the watch is technically in effect until 6 o'clock, but there's a pretty decent chance that that watch will be canceled well before that as the wind profiles begin to veer. And again, almost all the reports we're continuing to see, the reports are from earlier today. And Bill, I think the one good thing, we've had no injuries today.
Let's continue that trend, James. That's the best thing that we've heard all day. You know, we got that first set of warnings about 4 a.m. and that's when people are sleeping, and we're pushing out notifications via all of our apps and NOAA Weather Radio, and it sounds like, James, that people responded, and fortunately we so far with all these trees down and all the different damage reports we've had with trees on homes, and we've seen extremely damaging pictures of trees on cars, like in Leeds. We've gotten out of this without any injuries so far. Let's keep this streak going as the afternoon gets deeper into it.
Absolutely. So again, we're at 12:28, and we're going to stay here for just a little longer. We don't. Again, you're used to seeing me in the suspender outfit, and we've got tornado warnings. We do not have any tornado warnings, but we got a tornado watch for these counties here until 6 o'clock this evening. And really the greatest concern, it's going to be over the next 3 hours, I'd say between now and about 3 o'clock, because again, as we've talked about, after 3 or 4 o'clock, the wind profiles become somewhat unfavorable for tornado formation. So again, you can see we've got a couple of lines here of showers. We've got the showers west of Tuscaloosa in Pickens County up into Fayette County, and we are seeing some lightning output here. But again, the air is more stable in the zone here. There's just no evidence of any problem, and the odds of a problem are quite low here. Let's go down again to our storm that is located east of Selma. And this is where conditions are much more favorable for potential for possibly a brief, small, isolated tornado. And again, you can see a little inflow notch. And again, if you're looking for trouble, it's going to be right back in through here. And that thing is basically sitting on top of the Alabama River. So let's go to the velocity display, which really tells the story. And again, there it is right there, very broad, not a tornadic signature. And again, like we talked about before, if you issue a tornado warning for something like that, you're going to have a false alarm 99 out of 100 times, and we just cannot have any more false alarms. That's one of the things that we understand is a big detriment. We hear this a lot. Warnings happen all the time and nothing ever happens. And again, our friends at the Weather Service in Birmingham, they have done an amazing job in reducing the number of false alarms. They've gone back to basic science, and I'm so thankful for what they have done at the Weather Service there in Birmingham. It's just really an amazing job. So again, we're watching, by the way, our sky cams, just to kind of get your bearing straight here. This camera is located in Montgomery. This is on the Alabama Public Television Tower right by Patterson Field in Montgomery. And that is looking back off to the west. And the other camera that you see up here in the top part, that is coming from the southwestern part of Chilton County. This is a sky cam that is located near Maplesville. And again, at this point, we're not going to see anything there. We don't have any tornadoes anywhere in the state. We're watching this very broad rotation that is right here that's between Selma and Otaugaville. That's Alabama Highway 14, and there's no need for a tornado warning, and we're thankful there's not one because there's no need for one. But the storms are just having a hard time getting their act together. In fact, this thing has only produced one lightning strike in about the past 10 minutes or so, and that's a good thing. When you begin to see a ramp up in lightning and the couplet becoming tighter, that's when you've got a sign of problems here. But let's go back to our statewide view. And once again, we are live at 12:31. We have no warnings in effect for any part of Alabama, which is a good thing. But again, we're just watching these storms in here that are trying to rotate. They're trying. They're giving it their best, but so far they have not been able to accomplish that. And hopefully with a somewhat marginal set of circumstances, then maybe we'll get something. But again, hopefully the best case scenario today, we get nothing, and that's a real possibility, no tornadoes at all. So I do want to, before we kind of go back to our regular programming here, I want to kind of go back this morning and discuss what happened. And again, we had some concentrated damage up in northern Jefferson County, and there's certainly some chance there could have been perhaps a small, brief, isolated tornado near Mount Olive this morning. But most all the damage we have seen, it's been consistent with straight line winds. In fact, let's go to WEX 05 if we can. Ryan wanted to show some of this video. This is from Mount Olive. And you can see that we've got, and this is not the driver shooting the video, this is the passenger. So they're doing it safely. But I wanted to show some of the damage that we saw this morning coming from Mount Olive, which is, again, a little north of Gardendale. This is between Gardendale and Corner. This is in the northern part of Jefferson County, and this happened about 4:30, 4:45 this morning from an accelerating bow-shaped echo. And often on the apex of that bow, you can see a lot of wind damage like that. And again, you can see many, many trees were blown down. In some cases, trees did come down on homes. We had a couple of reports of entrapment for a brief time. But again, the good news is that we had no injuries. And understand the way it worked this morning with the warnings, you got a severe thunderstorm warning. And this is why we encourage everybody to have a NOAA weather radio. This is like a smoke alarm in your home for a tornado. And you would have known about 25 minutes before that happened that there was a severe storm approaching with damaging winds. And when you get a warning out of the Birmingham office, it means something. And again, it certainly meant something this morning. But here's some more damage. And again, you know, a lot of these trees are going to fall on something, and that's going to ruin somebody's Thanksgiving right there. And again, we're just thankful that nobody was in that vehicle. And I've had some reports this morning of folks that had relatives that were, you know, they college kids or other relatives that came into town and they parked their car out in the driveway and they wound up getting a tree on top of the thing, which is just not the way to celebrate Thanksgiving. But again, the best news of all is the fact that we have heard of nobody being injured. And again, you can see some of the damage to that vehicle right there. And another just screaming reminder that there is not a safe place in a car. During a severe thunderstorm, a tornado, you just can't be in a vehicle. And again, all of this happened this morning during the passage of that nasty squall. And of course, the state bird was just out of control this morning. These things were flying absolutely everywhere across the state. I know that shot was taken from Trussville. But again, we want to thank everybody for taking the time to send in these images because it's very important to us so we can see what the results of what we see on radar. And if you missed this is some pretty remarkable video. Watch the lightning strike. That's Interstate 5920 this morning near Tuscaloosa. Boom. Wow. That's near Foster's, southwest of Tuscaloosa. Again, there's a look at our Alabama state bird right there.
I think it's in full migration.
I think it is. Look at the damage here.
Wow.
This is Mount Olive. And again, the Weather Service will come in here and look to assess the damage to see if maybe there was a small tornado involved. That's a possibility. And these things get down for 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes, and you can't warn for them. Most of the damage we've seen is consistent with straight line winds, but again, the survey team will take a look at this and determine if there was a small tornado up in the Mount Olive area earlier today. But again, we thank everybody for taking the time to send in those images. So let's go back to the radar here, 1236. And again, we do not have intentions of just going on and on and on with no warnings. And again, we're going to go back to our regular programming on the Alabama Weather Network here in a few minutes. But again, we just want to update this. So one more time, Bill, let's take a look at this storm between Selma and Montgomery. It's basically just north of the Alabama River. And we'll see what this thing looks like. Again, the city of Montgomery is right here. We'll check the reflectivity, the velocity on this to see if it's tightened up any. And it has not. It's just trying, but it cannot get its act together. So again, there is no evidence of any tornado, but again, we'll watch this thing like a hawk. And again, just a few basic points on this afternoon. This is not really a classic tornado day. I know it feels that way, but the wind profiles will be weakening with time and veering in a unidirectional phase, which will make it harder for these things to get their act together. But again, for the next few hours, we'll keep a very close eye on these things. And of course, if we do have a tornado warning, that's our commitment here. We'll be on the air. We'll stay on the air. All 67 counties, it doesn't matter where you are. We will take care of you from Mobile and Baldwin to Jackson, Madison, Limestone, and Lauderdale. And again, just one more note as you watch me again during our coverage, you're going to see a lot of visuals. The one thing that we know, especially for younger people, they want it to be visually interesting. And as we get chasers out in the field, you'll be able to see their live streams right over here in these boxes. And again, we've got sky cams now. Again, the top sky cam, that is coming from near Maplesville. That's in Chilton County. The bottom sky cam, that is the Montgomery sky cam looking back off to the west in the direction of that thing that is broadly rotating over here. That's north of the Alabama River coming up near Autaugaville. But again, we stress right now, there's just no evidence of any tornado there. But if a warning is issued, we will come right back and let you know. So at this point, Bill, we're going to go back to regular programming on the Alabama Weather Network. And we will be back with frequent updates this afternoon. So
live, statewide, 24/7. It's the Alabama Weather Network.